watching Let's Chat.
Welcome back to Let's Chat. This morning we are introducing you, or I guess reintroducing you, I could say, to Mr. Zack England. You may recognize his face. He's been on the show before, but today we're excited to welcome you in the capacity of Best and Brock. Zack, welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
All right, tell me a little bit about yourself, your background, and where you are now.
Yeah. Born and raised here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I started out with Warren and Griffin and evolved there over the past 12 to 15 years, however long it's been. And then just recently went out on my own and joined up as of counsel with Best and Brock, Matt Brock and Garth Best, and been there now just over about 90 days and working the kinks out, but very excited to be over there.
Perfect. Well, again, welcome back to Let's Chat. We're happy to have you, of course. Talk a little bit about the clients that you are able to help, in and around our community, and I guess, your areas of service, as I like to say.
Sure. Well, Matt and Garth have always specialized in criminal, and I came on to try to build out the personal injury side of it. That's been my specialty over the last just over a decade. Anything from automobile accidents, workers' comp, slip and falls, anything where somebody's been injured at the fault of somebody else, I'm happy to help and see if I can assist.
Perfect. All right. Yeah. We have a couple questions that we want to run through today that you say are frequently asked questions when someone first makes contact with you to see if you can help them in any way. The first one is, well, how are my medical bills paid?
Yeah, very, very common question, and not all medical bills are made equal. There could be an assumption that somebody's going to come through and pay for these one day, but that could be a long waiting game where it could never happen. So I advise my clients, you've got options, you've got health insurance. You may have something called MedPay, which is on your own auto policy. There's also a route of recovery through the other person's insurance if there is insurance established. So we work together to try to figure out what's the best approach, what's going to be the most advantageous approach for the client. So there's multiple ways for that.
Second question, what's going to happen to my vehicle? Of course, if we're in an accident at another person's fault, so what happens to my car?
Yeah, very early common question. First off, you're going to be entitled to either have your car fixed or replaced if the car is going to be a total loss. In addition to the car, there may be other property in the car that's hurt as well, so keep that in mind. But it's advantageous to get in with a body shop as quickly as you can, get the rental car situation lined up, and that means putting everybody on notice. But more importantly, it also means being patient. With COVID, we've had body shops be backed up due to precautions and things like that. So it's best to keep a good attitude and an open mind, but the better the communication, the better with the body shops and everybody else to try to get your car fixed in a timely manner.
Perfect. All right, next question. I do not have a doctor or I don't have health insurance. Yeah. What can I do?
Sure. And again, this same conundrum with COVID, sometimes it's hard to get in with a doctor, or you're reluctant to get into the hospital based off what's going on. But your options, stem from the emergency room to a network of doctors and providers that I know personally and can work with, whether that be a chiropractor, a physical therapist, an orthopedic. There's a gambit, what's most convenient for you, where you live, where you work, where you play. I want to sit down with a client, work together to get a plan that's going to be the most feasible, but also accessible. That way the client whose health is most important, that can be established early on.
And again, we're answering these frequently asked questions because this is a big thing that a big difference, I should say, being able to work with yourself. You're here, you're local, you can sit with these clients, you can work through these expectations, you can work on time management issues, and you can help connect them with a doctor as well. Explain the importance of being able to work with you, with a member of your team, right here in Chattanooga.
Sure. I always want my clients to shop local in anything that they do, and I know it sounds cheesy, but I want my clients to be able to say, yeah, I could look my attorney in the eye. And I know that sounds trivial, but that's not always the case with a lot of out-of-town firms. Even some local firms, you may just be a name in the system with a case manager and only accessible via phone or something like that. I want to be accessible on all platforms, phone, email, in person, you name it. I want to be that local presence that's here to answer questions, to give help, and guide you through the process start to finish.
And a few more questions. This is just what I'm thinking of off the top of my head. Say someone's in an accident today, an automobile accident, that's obviously not their fault. When do we need to contact you? Yeah, right away? Is there a timeline?
As soon as possible, and you may not need an attorney. You certainly need the advice, and that helps for peace of mind and clarity moving forward. I may not be able to help everybody, but I can at least guide you, put you in the right process. If you do need me, I'm happy to help. If not, you'll call me down the road as well, but I always want to be accessible from the very beginning. There's no dumb question in personal injury because I've seen it all and happy to help at any time.
So how do we get started with you? What is the best way to begin that conversation?
Sure. Find me, ZackEngland.com. Also locally, 423-693-2378. That's 693-BEST, B-E-S-T. We're right down the road, 1257 Market Street, right beside Kenny's Sandwich Shop.
All right, perfect. Zack, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for answering these frequently asked questions. And of course, anytime you need help or even just advice, you can give them a call. Stick around. We'll be right back on Let's Chat.